Have you ever wondered how love and faith intertwine in the most unexpected ways? What if I told you that even in life's darkest moments, a profound truth could change everything? Welcome to our channel, where we explore the stories that touch the soul and inspire the spirit. Today, we bring you the powerful, heartwarming journey of a young man named Tommy. His story will challenge what you think you know about faith, love, and the extraordinary ways God works in our lives. Stay with us, because you won't want to miss a single moment of this incredible tale. John Powell, a theology professor at Loyola University in Chicago, once wrote about a student named Tommy. This story, full of humor, heartbreak, and hope's one that will stay with you long after you hear it. About 12 years ago, I stood at the front of my class, watching students file in for my Theology of Faith course. That's when I first met Tommy. He stood out instantly. Not because of his personality, not yet, but because of his long, flowing blonde hair that reached down to his shoulders. At the time, it was an unusual sight for a young man. Internally, I couldn't help but think, well, that's different. I mentally labeled him as a rebel. Tommy soon proved me right. He was the self-proclaimed atheist in a theology class. He was loud, opinionated, and skeptical, always challenging the idea of a loving God. Despite this, we managed to coexist for the semester. While he was often a thorn in my side, I also found his presence oddly intriguing. On the last day of class, Tommy handed in his final exam. With his signature smirk, he asked, "Professor, do you think I'll ever find God?" I decided to give him an answer that would make him think. "No, Tommy," I replied firmly. As he raised an eyebrow, I added, "But I'm certain God will find you." He shrugged, unconvinced, and walked out of the room. That was the last I saw of him for a while. Years passed, and I heard Tommy had graduated. Then came the news that hit me like a punch to the gut. Tommy had been diagnosed with terminal cancer. He was only 24. One day, unexpectedly, Tommy walked into my office. I almost didn't recognize him. The long blonde hair was gone, a casualty of chemotherapy. His body was frail, but his eyes shone with a clarity and strength I'd never seen before. "Tommy, it's good to see you," I said, startled. "Good to see you too, Professor," he replied. "I've been meaning to come by. There's something I need to tell you." Tommy shared how he'd wrestled with faith after leaving my class. He'd tried to find God, but felt nothing. Then, after his cancer diagnosis, he reached a breaking point. He described knocking on the gates of heaven with desperate prayers, only to feel silence in return. Frustrated, he gave up searching. Instead, he decided to spend his remaining days doing something meaningful, starting with his family. "I remembered what you said in class once," Tommy explained. "The deepest sadness is living without love. But an even greater sadness is not telling those you love how much you care." So, I began with my dad. Tommy's voice softened as he recounted the moment. "I told my dad, 'I love you.' He dropped his newspaper, looked at me, and for the first time in my life, he hugged me and said, 'I love you too, son.' He went on to share similar moments with his mother and brother. The more he opened his heart, the more he felt an overwhelming presence. It wasn't until then that I realized God had been there all along, working through love. "You were right, Professor. God found me." As Tommy spoke, I couldn't help but marvel at how much he'd grown. Before he left my office, I asked if he would share his story with my current students. "I'll think about it," he said with a small smile. But Tommy never got the chance. A few weeks later, he passed away. Before Tommy left this world, he asked me for one final favor. "Professor, will you share my story? Not just with your students, but with as many people as you can? Let them know that God's love is real, and that it's never too late to find it." I promised him I would, and today, I'm keeping that promise. Tommy's journey teaches us that God doesn't wait to be found. He comes to us, often in the most unexpected ways. His love works through the people we cherish, and the moments of genuine connection we create. As the Apostle Paul wrote, "God is love. Whoever lives in love, lives in God, and God in them." 1 John 4:16. In love, He predestined us for adoption to sonship through Jesus Christ, in accordance with his pleasure and will, to the praise of his glorious grace, which he has freely given us in the one he loves. Ephesians 1:4-6. Tommy's story is a powerful reminder of the transformative power of love and faith. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring content. Let us know in the comments how you've seen love and faith work in your life. Remember, no matter where you are or what you're going through, God's love will find you. See you in the next video, and may peace and blessings be with you all.